Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us. It's Wednesday, June 26th. You're watching News 2 on VIA Channel 4 and 504. I'm Leslie Kamisiang. Topping our stories tonight, the Senate had a lengthy session Monday and passed several bills which included a sunscreen ban, along with money for both hospitals to pay WAPA bills. News 2's James Gardner has the story.
The 33rd legislative slate was full on Tuesday as they approved a number of nominations, resolutions, and bills, which included Bill 330101, an act appropriating $39,467,909 in Medicare reimbursements awarded to the territory's medical facilities. The $39.5 million from the Centers of Medicare and Medicaid Services, or CMS, was the product of an audit that revealed Medicare has been underpaying the territory's medical facilities for the years 2011 through 2013. The initial Senate bill, Bill number 33-0072, proposed that a majority of the amount should go to the territory's hospitals so they can pay their outstanding WAPA bills, but did not provide funding for such entities as St. Thomas East End Medical or Frederiksted Healthcare, which provided some of the services that Medicaid was paying back.
I always spoke about people and policy making, that we have to consider people when we drive policy. This put me to the test to make sure that what I signed up for, what I'm going to vote for, considers people.
My concern still remains, though, that the hospitals need to ensure that they are in fact paying their FICA, local taxes, their Medicaid expenses for their employees, because that is very critical.
The bill passed on Tuesday, appropriating $11.7 million to the 1F Louis Hospital and $10.5 million to the Snyder Regional Medical Center, both of which will use the money to pay outstanding obligations to WAPA. Another $700,000 is slated to go to the VI Waste Management Authority to pay its WAPA obligations. The rest of the total amount is distributed among various agencies, including the Department of Health, the Department of Human Services, and the two hospitals for repairs. The St. Thomas East End Medical Center and the Frederiksted Healthcare will get $1.8 million and $2.5 million respectively. Also passing on Tuesday was Bill number 330043, an act that bans the retail sale or offer for sale and the distribution or import for retail purposes of tropical sunscreen products containing oxybenzone and oxtin oxate. If enacted, the bill will go into effect January 1st, 2021, the same day similar bans in Florida and Hawaii go into effect. For News 2, this is James Gardner.
Senators also approved the governor's nominee, Darrell Jashin, as the director of the Virgin Islands Territorial Emergency Management Agency, and Richard Evangelista as the commissioner of the Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs. One resident on St. Croix thought he landed a great deal on a property to be gifted to his son, but instead he landed disputes and trials over what he says is discrimination from his Caucasian neighbors. Mr. Bernard Cuffey received permits from local agencies to begin work on the road leading to his property, but Mr. Cuffey alleges that his neighbors violated CZM codes, causing disparity and further expense.
Bernard Cuffey was elated when he closed on his property at 38 Claremont. Mr. Cuffey raised his children on St. Croix, but both his children remain in the States after college. He said he purchased a Claremont property for his son, who is starting his own family, and was hoping to move back on island. But what Mr. Cuffey didn't know was that he was in for a whirlwind with his neighbors.
Yeah, well, this is the road to number 38 Claremont, 38 Claremont on the north side.
The road to Mr. Cuffey's property had not been used for some time and needed to be cleared. His adjacent neighbors claimed that the road was part of their property and that Mr. Cuffey should use an alternate route to access his property. Tuckley Devlin, correspondence to Cuffey, illustrates direct intimidation, and although Mr. Cuffey says no racist language was used, he believes that his neighbors are discriminating against him.
One of the letters, for example, that one of the, I think his name is Tucky Devlin, he and his wife Cindy Devlin sent to me was to the effect saying, you know, we are going to take you through the legal to court over and over and over again, and it's going to cost you. And at the end of the day, I think the best thing that you need to do is to sell to us.
Large boulders and even vehicles have been put in front of the road entrance to stop Mr. Coffey from accessing his property. The road to 38 Claremont runs between two separate properties of Cindy and Tuckley Delvin. According to information provided by Mr. Coffey, while the road was unused over a number of years, a septic tank belonging to Plot 6 was built under the road leading to 38 Claremont, and the Department of Planning and Natural Resources issued a stop work order due to environmental violations.
I want the community to understand that we have to be tolerant and we have to be respectful, because, you know, you don't know who's going to own a property next to you. I don't either. You know, but I have to respect that, you know, the right of way and the roads to whoever property. I want to put no boulders in front of a road.
Mr. Coffey has had altercations with other neighbors, and a vehicle was used to cause bodily harm onto him in further intimidation circumstances in the neighborhood.
Yeah, I was parked right there.
And they made an argument over that?
Yes, over that. And the son came with the car and tried to run me over, and the father came in between and stopped it.
Defending his mother, and he's got a temper, and I apologize.
That's the business. That's the street.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Mr. Coffey says he won't sell the property. He says the situation is bigger than himself, and he will continue to fight for equality within the Virgin Islands. For News 2, I'm Stephanie Shalana Brown.
A temporary restraining order has been placed on Mr. Coffey's permit by the owners of Plot 6, although DPNR has stated that the land in dispute is the access road to number 38 Claremont. Both parties are due back in court this upcoming Monday. We will keep you updated on this unbelievable situation. The Anguilla landfill fire that burned for more than a week is finally out. Governor Albert Bryant Jr. stopped by the landfill earlier this week to check on the status of the fire. The fire at St. Croix Anguilla landfill ignited on June 17th, according to the Waste Management Authority, at around 5:30 a.m. It was largely out but reignited on June 18th. Normal operations at the Anguilla landfill resumed on Tuesday. Trucks will be monitored at the landfills, so Waste Management is asking drivers to be patient with the disposal of waste. There will be some delays during the process. If you need any more information on how the fire is affecting trash disposal operations, you can call 340-513-4171 or email communications@viwma.org. Coming up next, St. Croix native son Tim Duncan continues to give back to the next generation, plus more from the Disaster Expo over the weekend when we return. Welcome back. St. Croix native son Tim Duncan continues to give back to the community after pledging $500,000 to help kickstart a child-centered cause in the territory. Duncan, through his foundation, recently made several donations to the Department of Sports, Parks, and Recreations. The supplies would benefit various summer camps across the territory and the kids who attend them. Rashidi Clemens, representative of the Tim Duncan Foundation, tells us more about this initiative.
We're making a donation, a contribution to the Department of Parks and Recreation, Mr. Calvert White, brand new commissioner who's doing great things, and we just want to assist any way he can. So Calvert let us know that they need mops and hygiene products for the summer camps and whatnot. So I think we get more than enough mops and brooms for Calvert and his summer camps, and then teachers and education could come and collect some if there's any left over from this summer from Mr. White. So Mr. White, on behalf of Tim Duncan himself, thank you very much for the continued efforts you do in the community.
Right here we have pallets of cleaning supplies, paper towel buckets from the Tim Duncan Foundation, giving back to the community, doing something good. So that's what we're here doing right now. I'm the operator. This is the driver / laborers doing his thing. We're doing our thing, giving back to the community.
These supplies are going to be distributed to our different summer camps. Summer camps start in about a week in St. Thomas, 2 weeks in St. Croix. We'll disseminate them to the different camps. Then we take some and distribute them to St. Croix. But again, thank you for helping us out. These cleaning supplies are going to help the department very, very much. Much appreciated. And you continue to do the great things that you're doing for the community.
National HIV Testing Day is coming up, and the Virgin Islands Department of Health is urging the community to take part. The department is joining the nation with recognizing National HIV Testing Day this year under the theme Doing It My Way. National HIV Testing Day was first observed on June 27, 1995, intended to encourage people to keep tested for HIV, know their status, and get linked to care and treatment. HIV testing is recommended as part of routine health care, yet many Americans are not being tested as often as advised. According to the Center for Disease Control Prevention, or CDC, 1 in 7 people living with HIV in the U.S. today are unaware of their status. If you would like to take part, it begins tomorrow, June 27th, at the following locations: Christiansted by the Market from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., Frederickstead Healthcare Sites, the Village Prevention Office in Richmond on St. Croix, the Nude Hansen Clinic on St. Thomas from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and the Cloud 9 Club during Ladies' Night, 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. And on Saturday, June 29th, testings at the Starlight Lounge from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. in the morning. The Disaster Preparedness Expo, sponsored by the Virgin Islands Department of Health, held at the DC Canagata Recreation Center, featured over 30 agencies and vendors on hand to help residents prepare for any disasters that might occur in the Virgin Islands. Two such agencies, Vitima and the Red Cross, the American Red Cross, that is, of the Virgin Islands, they provided vital information to residents regarding preparedness for disasters.
It is very important to sign up for Alert VI.
Because of the fact, being that we faced 2 major hurricanes about 2 years ago, we understand the importance of keeping the public aware and abreast of all hazards that would affect the territory. So knowing firsthand is very important, and Vitima is here to assist you as best as we can.
And if you would like to sign up for Alert VI, you can log on to www.vitima.vi.gov. You're going to scroll all the way to the bottom of the screen and click the sign that says Alert VI.
Get first-hand knowledge of flash flood warnings, earthquakes that may have affected other areas in the territory, and knowing if we're at a tsunami threat, and you get it from the right source. So that's always credible.
Today we're fortunate to be out here sharing with people information about disaster preparedness, including how to create a customized kit for your family, how to create a plan of action, and how to stay informed. One of the things I'd like to point out that we have on our board, we're looking at stations to tune in on your radio, and also some free apps that you can download on your phone that will keep you informed of any disasters that may be approaching. We'd also like to talk a little bit about children. So we've been going into the schools and helping them prepare. We have the Pillowcase Project, the Pedro Project, and the Teen Preparedness Project. We've been able to reach out to all the schools across the island, and we're looking forward to continuing our efforts and helping people be ready.
Stick around, your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.
Good evening. We'll continue to see mainly dry conditions across the Virgin Islands tonight. Still the chance for some cloud cover and shower activity. And you do notice as we take a closer look that there are some clouds to the north that will continue to shift in a southerly fashion. Also going to be some moisture well to our south. Now, with that being said, nothing overly wet for the next several days, and that's because of the Saharan dust. We continue to see that track its way further to the west. There will be some gaps in that dust across the windwards as we head into tomorrow morning, and then also shifting in that gap of dust for a brief period of time before we move into your Friday and watch more dry air really move in across the Caribbean. And that once again limits any convection, also puts a halt on any hurricane development, and our wind shear also has been pretty high, so not looking at any big storms coming your way at this point in time. Partly cloudy conditions tonight with a low of 80, some showers in spots. We'll continue to see the chance for some spotty showers tomorrow in St. John with a high of 89, but once again no washout situations. St. Thomas also in the upper 80s, and partly sunny conditions in St. Croix with a high of 88, getting some sun mixing in with those clouds and some showers scattered about. Now, for your marine forecast, tomorrow waves are a bit higher on the Atlantic side, running 3 to 5 feet. Winds out of the east 15 to 20 knots, and also be looking at our waves also increasing here on the Caribbean side, 3 to 5 feet. Winds out of the east 15 to 20 knots. At this time, no cautions are in place, but we'll definitely keep you up to date. Your highs remain in the upper 80s for your Thursday, Friday, and even into the weekend and early week. What you do notice is with that dust, yes, you'll be looking at some sunshine, but it's hazy sunshine. That means some chances for milky sunsets, beautiful sunsets, but also looking at the chance for some respiratory illnesses to be heightened due to the dust moving in.
Don't go away. When we come back, Alex Randall's news and comments. Stick around.
You're watching News 2. This is Alex Randall with News and Comment. Think about the things we are really good at: Carnival, Calypso, hurricanes. We should be the world's wizards of hurricanes. We've had so many. Think about Hugo, Marilyn, Bertha, Georges, Irma, Maria, and that's just the hit parade. There were a dozen other little ones that passed through. We should be wizards at this. It should be our strong suit. We know what to do. Or do we? Senators in the Government Operations Committee listened to the heads of different government agencies report on their preparedness for this year's hurricane season. What a disappointment. No one is really ready. Department of Health doesn't have shelters for the mentally ill or the homeless. The Department of Human Services has no data service for the shelters. The Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs is supposed to stop price gouging. That didn't happen in the last one. Contractors after Hurricane Maria didn't have the right licenses. Department of Public Works, are they poised or ready or not? Well, that's not clear. WAPA says they only have 10 days supply of fuel, no backup generators. And the police department says they have no plan to stop looting after a storm. Well, if the government is not ready, at least you should be. Get your emergency kit together. Stockpile food, stockpile water. Make sure your medicines are up to date. Get your battery-operated radio ready to go. You know the list. We all know the list. We've done this list before. You know how to be ready, even if the government isn't. What is it with the closed-door hearings? How come WAPA has to have closed-door meetings, no reporters allowed? Okay, they made a huge mistake sending $2 million off to some phishing scam that sent a bogus invoice. Okay, they have to have a meeting to talk about how they messed up. Okay, they don't want anybody to hear how badly they messed up. So close the door to the public? And it's the same thing over at WICO. How come their board meetings have to be closed to the public? What is so secret? Now, we ordinary people only hide things when we do something that would be embarrassing. That's when we close the door. So when they close the door, what do we think? They must have something embarrassing. Doesn't it make you want to know even more? Both of these institutions run on our money. It's our utility bills, our taxes, our government's oversight. How come they don't want us to know what they're doing? Now, we really needed this, our very own vodka. Vodka's hot stuff. It's like pure alcohol. You can make it from almost anything that can be fermented and distilled. In Poland, they make vodka out of potatoes. In Russia, they make vodka from wheat. Here in the Virgin Islands, we are making Mutiny Island vodka out of breadfruit. Breadfruit, really, it's like a superfood, and we grow it here. And now we're going to make vodka out of it. This is a whole new business with the potential to make money and a lot of happy drunks too. Do we pay too much for our food? The Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs thinks we might be getting gouged. Like, we already know food's expensive here, but maybe it's way more expensive than it needs to be. The department wants to hire some experts from the states to evaluate our food prices and see if we're paying more than it actually should cost. Maybe someone's profit margin is exorbitant. Maybe we're not using the most efficient forms of transportation. Stay tuned. This could be interesting. St. John Festival's in full swing. We had food fair, boat races, and now we have a queen. Lakeisha Richards, crowned after competing with 4 other young ladies. And we have a junior festival queen, Tamra Bartlett. And I have to commend Prince Lemuel Liebert III. One has to be impressed that a young man will come out and compete in a competition surrounded entirely by pretty girls. Brave man. Thanks for watching. This is Alex Randall with News and Comment. Now back to Leslie.
Thanks for that. And that's it for our show tonight. We're live on Facebook and YouTube and on via Channel 4 and 504 Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 7 p.m. and 11 p.m. Follow us on social media, tag us on any stories you want to see on the news, or send us a message on Messenger. You can also email us at newsdirector@tv2.vi. Thanks again for joining us on News 2. I'm Leslie Comisiang, and we'll see you next time.